31 Days of Horror with Mark.
Hi. So, film I watched this evening, only going to watch one tonight, was a Shudder original. So at the moment you can watch Shudder films through Amazon Prime. I don't know if there's any other way to kind of do it, but that's how I've got like the channel subscription attached to my Prime. So the film I watched, I think it's actually like pretty much brand new. It's a film called Scare Me. So just straight up, I thought it was absolutely excellent. Just right at the gate, I loved every second. I spent most of the film with like a huge grin plastered across my face. So the general premise, so it stars Aya or Ava Cash. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's spelled A-Y-A. So we'll say Ava, and hopefully they can offend her if she ever manages to watch this, which would be slim to none. But it's the lass that plays Stormfront in The Boys. Also features a guy called Josh something, which I now completely forget because I started this video earlier and had to kind of like put on hold. So Josh something, who's also the director as well. So very kind of succinct. So apologies for that there as well. So general premise is the Josh's character Freddy having a bit of writer's block, that old kind of chestnut, goes up to the cabin in the woods to try and kind of combat the writer's block and kind of write a story and what have you. Whilst there, he meets Ava Cash's kind of character, who again I forgot the name of. Fanny. Which for Scottish people we're certainly going to get tee. But yeah, so it meets kind of Fanny, and when they're kind of running, and they get to talking, and it turns out that they're both writers, and but she's a fairly successful one, and obviously he's in his writer's block kind of hell at the moment. So during a power cut, Ava comes round, and then they decide to kind of she basically kind of comes up with a game whereby she wants him to scare her, and vice versa. So they start telling scary stories to each other. Very, very simple premise. As I say, it's literally set in this one cabin. Well, I mean, with the exception of a few kind of establishing stuff and what have you, but like it's pretty much set in this kind of cabin, and it goes effectively back and forth as they kind of tell scary stories to each other, kind of thing. So on paper, sounds maybe a little bit on the dull side, but it's really no. When they're telling the kind of stories, the sound effects that they're making, so like if talking about the creaking wood or whatever, they start going wee, wee, it starts to actually kind of you start to actually hear the creaking of the wood, and there's a couple of kind of bits where there's storm kind of flashes of lightning, all that kind of stuff. So again, that's pretty kind of pretty cool. The stories themselves, I probably want to kind of go and say that they're overly scary, but that's no the point of this. This is actually it's more a kind of tongue-in-cheek more than anything. As I say, it's these guys trying to kind of scare each other, but again, it's I'm trying to kind of articulate this as best I possibly can. Whilst my cat just has a spaz in the corner there. But yeah, so it's them kind of telling stories, but the stories are given kind of life through the kind of special effects, through for example, there's a werewolf story, and at one point the werewolf claw comes into kind of shot, and then that's kind of a bit there's somebody in a full werewolf costume. So it's these kind of two effectively kind of acting off each other, bouncing off each other, and as the stories progress, they start getting involved in each other's kind of stories and stuff like that as well. So it's, as I say, it's no, I don't think meant to be a straight up horror. Within reason, obviously, it's kind of in the horror genre. It was on Shudder, for God's sake, so Shudder is primarily, I think, a horror channel. But it was so much fun. So as I say, I spent most of the film a huge grin across my face. I laughed quite a bit, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the characters. I loved what they were doing. I loved what they done with the material. And it says it starts and it's them telling one story each kind of thing, and then they get involved with each other's, and but yeah, like it's so clever. Like it could have just been really kind of boring, or I mean, don't get me wrong, like if the stories were scary enough kind of thing, you probably would have kind of sat there kind of creeped out. But I liked the fact that it wasn't just a straight up kind of horror fest. It was just them having a lot of fun. Them being writers, there's points where they're like throwing like quotes at each other. They're talking about kind of like sort of horror franchises. So again, Josh, again, I've completely forgot his name, so apologies for that. But like, he obviously knows his craft, because not only is he acting in it, but he actually also I want to say writes and directs. I'm pretty sure he's like the triple hitter in it, which is quite funny because in the film he is supposed to be a writer, director, actor kind of thing. So he's obviously taking the piss at himself as well, which again I thought was really kind of like fun. Ava Cash, who, as I says, I've literally only seen in The Boys. I quite like her in The Boys. It's not exactly the nicest character, but in The Boys, no one is a nice character. So in this, she comes off a bit abrasive at times, but you're kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of fine with that. Like it kind of it suits the purpose of the kind of story, and it kind of, as I say, it makes it like that much more kind of entertaining. I kind of really didn't want to kind of go into too much without you guys actually kind of watching it, because I think it will actually kind of spoil it, because I went in completely blind. I had like a rough inkling, like the title. I think I saw the poster, I think literally on my phone at some point in the day, and I was like, oh, what's this? And I didn't kind of read the premise. I think with the exception of maybe a tiny synopsis about like scary stories, and I was like, right, okay, fine, I'll just kind of go for it. So yeah, I just popped it on. Hour and 43 minutes, so it's not on like too long. It doesn't drag. Opening is maybe probably the slowest kind of part, but again, it pretty much starts with the laugh straight away, with Josh's character Freddie sitting in a taxi, and there's this like annoying, almost Annie Wilkes type kind of like cabbie, essentially winding him up in the cab, and he's trying to kind of sleep and what have you kind of thing. If I had any criticism at all, it probably would be the ending, which obviously I'm not going to spoil here. I thought it was a little bit, given the kind of the rest of the kind of film, I thought it maybe kind of came a little bit out of nowhere, is probably what I would say there. But that's as much as I'm going to kind of say. I don't want to kind of, as I say, I don't want to kind of like scare too many people off it. Pun definitely intended. So yeah, so if you've got the Shudder channel, or you're willing to kind of like go for one of their free trials, I think you get like some cases you get a week, sometimes you get a month. I'm no plugging for Shudder, so in case you're kind of wondering if I'm kind of sponsored by Shudder, I'm definitely no. But yeah, I totally and utterly loved every second of the film. It had me, as I say, is completely engaged. Everybody is like really good in it. It's funny. It's there are points where it is slightly creepy, but again, it's almost kind of like a movie version of a play. Is probably the best way to describe it, because as I say, because they're acting at the scenes, somebody behind the scenes is kind of like doing the effects work kind of thing. So you could totally imagine this being a kind of play. I don't know if it was shot during lockdown, but again, it's very minimalist. As it says, it's literally pretty much set in a cabin, with the exception of a couple of kind of brief shots kind of thing. So I like a film that can take that kind of that isolated premise and do something unique with it. Buried, for example, Buried was absolutely fantastic, and essentially it is 90 minutes of Ryan Reynolds in a coffin, which is really fucking grim. I'm sitting there going, lol. But yeah, I love Pontypool is another kind of fantastic kind of like a horror film where it's set in a single location. Like it doesn't kind of move, and everything that kind of goes pear-shaped over the radio. You hear about it in kind of news report. So if something takes the kind of premise of a person or two people stuck in a kind of confined space and can do something different and fun and interesting with it, like I'm all over it. And as I say, I didn't know what to expect. I genuinely kind of like, it's always the kind of worry that during this I'll kind of like if I'm watching something brand new, I'll watch and go, oh, I kind of wasted like 2 hours, 90 minutes of my kind of life watching this. So thankfully that wasn't the case with this. As I says, absolute blast. I highly recommend it. As I says, even try the Shudder free trial as well. I think you can get kind of like a decent amount of kind of time on it. And sorry, because I'm just gonna flag over. That's the problem right there. That guy in the corner. Great. What are you doing? Sorry. Yeah, my cat's kind of like trying to kind of clean the wardrobe. But yeah, Scare Me on Shudder via Amazon Prime. As I say, I don't know if you can actually get Shudder through other kind of means. If you can, I think it might just be like an app on your phone, an app on your kind of PC or what have you. So definitely worth a shout. I think even non-horror fans would like probably kind of like this as well. It's, as I say, it's completely different. A lot of fun. I've said fun probably about 60 times in this. I didn't care because it like completely and utterly had me like gripped, because it says fun premise that does something just that little bit different. So yeah, if you haven't kind of if you fancy it, definitely get a bash. If you're doing 31 days of horror, again, give it a bash. It's totally kind of worth your time. But yeah, that's going to be me. So it's going to be a goodbye from me. And hang on a second, because he's been annoying this whole time. Say goodbye, Groot. Yeah, there he goes. So yeah, nice speaking to you guys. I'll see you later.